And that day was it for me. You accepted me. You were more than willing to give me my idea. You very much quickly showed me that my boxing idea and my boxing stance was incorrect. But you quickly showed me that that was not how it was supposed to be. But what I loved about it is that you literally were like, let's get you hit. Like, let's teach you actually how to hit, and let's teach you how to do this and teach you some skill. And in that moment, I was like, wow, these guys are really actually going to help me. They're here for me. They don't think I'm a joke. This older mom walking in that just wants to get in the ring and hit someone. So really, really welcoming. And from that moment on, I was like, I'm part of something, and I don't have to be scared of this anymore.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Legends Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Scott. I just want to say, one, thank you all for listening. But two, I want to introduce my guest today. This is a very good personal friend of mine. This is Merrilee Fairbanks. I just call her Mare. Everybody calls her Mare. And she has been a part of Legends Boxing for a very, very long time.
Long time.
Long time.
Yep.
Can you remember exactly when you first walked in?
I can. Okay. 2012.
2012.
XSI.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I can remember everything about the day I walked in.
Well, let's hear it then.
Yeah. So I had a idea that I wanted to get into boxing, but my idea was a little bit different. I was aware that, you can do fitness classes and whatever, but I actually wanted to get in the ring. And so I had it held back within me for quite some time because, how many girls want to get in the ring? Moms, career, like, how's this going to go over? So I was doing a boot camp at the time, and my coach there suggested I head over to XSI. If I
was that with Kenny?
It was with Kenny Knight. Yep.
Yeah, Rage Fitness. Shout out to Kenny. We love you,
Yep.
Kenny.
He was great. He's like, Mare, just head on over there, and it's probably exactly what you want it to be. So got my umph up and thought, okay, I'm going to do this. So walked in and walked right in the front door and asked for somebody about boxing, and they sent me over to Cade's desk. So directed me right over there, and here's this very boisterous, loud, amazing, wonderful smile, Cade Fulmer,
Bright
who
blue
sat
eyes.
me down. Yep. I'll never forget that day. Sat me down, and I said, hey, I am interested in this boxing class that you guys have. He's like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. Yeah. And he explains everything to me. And after we had some jokes, and I got to know him in that moment and decided this guy is just chill, and he's wonderful and really accepting of my idea. He took me back to that far northeast corner.
Mm-hmm.
And there it was. There's the boxing ring. And you were there. You were in the ring. You were working with Larry.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced me to you guys, and he said, hey, she wants to get in the ring. And I remember your look, and you're like, you want to get in the ring? I said, yeah, I want to hit someone. And he said, okay, well, climb on in. Let's get you hit. And that's what I remember. And that day was it for me. You accepted me. You were more than willing to give me my idea. You very much quickly showed me that my boxing idea and my boxing stance was incorrect. Growing up watching all the Rocky movies with my dad, and has this idea of how it should go. Being hit a lot as a young girl. I had 6 brothers that lived across the street from me, and they used their boxing skills on me a lot. So I had an idea of what it was supposed to be, but you quickly showed me that that was not how it was supposed to be. But what I loved about it is that you literally were like, let's get you hit. Like, let's teach you actually how to hit, and let's teach you how to do this and teach you some skill. And in that moment, I was like, wow, these guys are really actually going to help me. They're here for me. They don't think I'm a joke. This older mom walking in that just wants to get in the ring and hit someone. So really, really welcoming. And from that moment on, I was like, I'm part of something. And I don't have to be scared of this anymore. I don't care what people think. If I want to get in the ring and I want to learn how to box, whether it's another guy or it's another girl, I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. And you guys made that possible for me.
That is exactly how it went. I remember that day very, very well. I actually remember what I was doing with Larry. There's a workout that we do currently now at Legends called Rhythm and Timing. And it was something that as back in the day when it was my job to create the workouts, I took what Larry had done for us, which was rhythm and timing, but he was holding mitts. So he's sitting there going nonstop like this. And then he would call a 3 and you'd have to time the 3 on the mitt and go right back to doing nonstop 1-2s on the mitts. And that's what we were doing in the middle of the ring when Cade brought you back to introduce us. And I was dying, just dripping sweat. And so, yeah, I totally remember that. But so a little intimidating prior to, right? Like boxing in itself was a little intimidating. Kenny suggested it to you. Kind of what was going on in your head when he suggested boxing? Like what do you think was the most intimidating part about boxing?
Honestly, the most intimidating part, and it may not be the typical answer, but it was what people actually would think of me. That was the intimidating part because I already knew inside I had this drive to do it. I played around with it as a child. It's something I always wanted to do. I always just had this idea in my head that, I would be good at some type of fighting, whatever it be. And it would help build me up. But for so long, I just didn't act on it. So to me, the intimidating part was actually stepping my foot in the ring. I can think of that day and you said, come on in. And I was like, oh, he's actually inviting me in the ring. He's taking me serious. Like, he's not just looking at this woman that's like, you want to fight? Like, no, yeah, come on in. I'll help you. And that took all the intimidation out of me completely. I didn't care what anybody thought of me. All I cared about was being in that moment with you. And you guys made that moment amazing. I felt welcome. I felt like I belonged and I've already been there. And I knew walking out that day, I'm like, I'm not ever going to stop this. This is something I want to do. And that took all the intimidation away. Now, obviously, when fights come up or whatever, and you very well know with my first fight how intimidating that was and crazy excited. But yeah, I got the sense of belonging and my intimidation went right out the window with you.
Had you ever been in a different boxing gym prior
Never.
to that? So the only reference that you had was Rocky,
Yep.
right? And
Rocky,
now if we go
100%.
back to Rocky 1, Mick had no desire
Right.
to have Rocky be a part of his gym or take any notice to him
Exactly.
until he got the championship fight, right? Now Rocky was picked out of a book from Apollo and now he gets to fight at this 12 round. And now Mickey wants to have everything to do with Rocky, right?
Yep,
So
exactly.
right there, that's helped that intimidating factor that, like we've said before, that when you walk into Legends, you are someone, you are a part of something immediately when you walk in the door.
Absolutely.
And that's how it's been from the very beginning.
It has.
So thank you for sharing that.
It has. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's kind of go through that journey a little bit. After that first day, you started. How many? Now, wait, let's back up a little bit. What do you do for a living?
I'm a mortgage broker. So I'm in real estate.
How long have you been doing that?
25 years.
So you know about stress and
Very
ebbs
much
and
so.
flows,
Very
and the
much so.
economy, and
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
So with that, you're a mother. How many children?
I have 2 kids.
How long have you been married?
I've been married now 19 years.
That's really
So-
awesome.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like the most common thing for
No.
someone in that situation to go, hey, I want to start boxing.
Yeah. No.
Right.
I
But
was very much career driven, mom mode, household, everything. So it is stepping out of your comfort zone, completely stepping. But it was a comfort zone I had inside of me for so long. I was like, I want to do this. But because I was a mom or because I'm a mortgage broker and I'm constantly busy working 14, 15-hour days, all of that, running my husband's business, like all of that, it was a lot. So to walk in and actually put my foot in the ring and have somebody welcome me there was a huge stepping stone for me. Huge. And it actually helps me in my career.
let me ask you this. I remember back in those days, did you have a lot of support from your family and what it was that you were trying to do in this new adventure that you wanted to seek out?
I didn't.
You didn't. I remember that.
I didn't. No. God, that's quite a subject. So yeah, I didn't have a lot of support. My immediate family, I did. My husband did not necessarily probably wanted his wife in the ring getting hit. And that's what people think. They don't realize it's more than just getting in the ring, getting hit. It's an amazing fitness. It's amazing mind growth. That's what it was for me. Fitness growth, health growth. But, for my husband, he was probably like, oh man, I don't want her in the ring getting hit. Right. A lot of friends, I actually lost friends. Yeah. Like, Mare, what are you doing? Like, what is this? What is this journey that you're on? Like, this isn't you. Well, it was me. It was always me. Mm-hmm. And so, I had some hard times actually in those years. A lot of things changed in my life, and boxing got me up in the morning. Period.
And it was an additional family that supported you in every step of the way.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. When it came to Legends, actually XSI at the time, but it came down to it, I was growing family and friends with you, with Cade, with Larry, and even the members. Now, if you remember, I was kind of shy. I don't know if I call it shy.
Just more standoffish.
Yeah. Like I only wanted to come to the class that was all men. I didn't want to go to any of the girls' classes. Mm-hmm. And I remember like, Mary, you should come to the women's class. This is really cool. We have a good time. And I'm like, I just want to stick with the guys. I'm not going to do that. And eventually I caved in, and it was actually great because I got to know even more people. There was some pretty incredible women back then who are still in my life. We still have a tight-knit family friendship, and a massive gain, I would say, of family. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's been going on ever since.
It has. Haven't lost one of you.
Never.
Still.
Well, we lost Cade.
We did lose Cade.
He's still a part of us. He's always going to be a part of our lives. But, unfortunately, we did lose Cade.
We did.
But let's kind of fast forward a little bit, because you initially walked in. Your goal was to fight, not to just hit a heavy bag, not to just work out, not to just lose weight. But all of that stuff happened by default. Do you remember how much you actually lost in that time frame?
I lost 62 pounds.
62 pounds. That's a lot of weight, guys. That's like a 12-year-old child in some points. So that's amazing right there.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of jump a little bit and kind of give it away a little bit. But if you guys have been listening to the podcast and you've been following the different episodes that we have, again, I appreciate you if you have. We talked a little bit about the glitter gloves. Yeah. Okay. And so if you guys remember that and you go back to that episode about the glitter gloves, Mare was our final fight of the night. She was one of the 3 fighters that I had submitted. And this was how many years into it? It was at least
3
years.
Yep.
3 years of training, 3 years of dedication,
Yep.
3 years of showing up and getting your butt out of bed.
Yep.
And then you finally got the opportunity that you initially started.
I did. And it was really exciting. It was really exciting.
Well, let's talk about that. What was your experience there?
Well, I remember you coming to me and asking me, he's like, hey, Mare, there's this opportunity for the glitter gloves. And I went right back to that intimidation thought when I first walked in that first day and met you. I'm like, well, I'm going to do this. I don't know how well I'm going to do, but I'm going to do this. This is what I've wanted. So when it was offered to me, obviously I said yes right away. I was excited. And you said, this is where we're going to do some new training and you're really going to learn how to get hit. And I'm going to bring up a day if it's okay.
Sure.
One day with the anticipation of the fight coming up, I came in for a women's class, in the morning, and we're working out. And I remember looking at you, and I don't know if you remember this. And I said, hey, will you get in the ring with me? And will you hit me? And you're like, absolutely. Because up to that point, you played around with me, you taught me everyone, Cade, everyone, but, never really hit me. You let me hit you, but it wasn't something that was typical at that time. A lot of the girls didn't get into the ring to get hit. They got in to learn footwork and whatever else. So I remember the smirk on your face, your smile, and you're like, get in the ring, Mare. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's actually going to hit me. This is great. And we got in and we worked for a good hour while the class still went on. And I remember, oh my gosh, this is how it feels. And he's actually showing me right now what it's going to be like. And you weren't hyping me up. You were just happy to be there. and give me that umph. They're like, you can do this, Mary. You can do this fight. And this is a little bit what it's going to be like. And you gave me that for that full hour. And let me tell you, I walked out and I'm pretty sure I was bloody. I bled pretty easily. We all know that. You punch Mare's nose, it's over. I'm going to bleed. But that just made it all more exciting. So that was a stepping stone. It's further into this fight and the encouragement and then the training for it every day. And it got hard. I'm not going to lie. It got hard. And I started questioning myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? Can I actually get in with somebody I don't know? I have no idea who she is, what her training really is. And I'm just going to go at this. And then on top of it, you tell everyone, like, I got this fight coming up. It's glitter gloves. You're advertising it. And the pressure's building. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got people coming out to see me. Holy crap, Mare's fighting? Like, what's this come out of left field? Because again, there was so many people that didn't support, didn't necessarily like what I was doing. But then I was growing this other massive support on the side, family and friends. So it was a very exciting time. But it was different also coming into the gym every morning. I had a different outcome. I was like, okay, I'm working towards something that I've always wanted to do. And it doesn't matter how it ends up. All it matters is what I'm learning, the fact that I belong and felt like I belong, and the fact that I had someone to encourage me and tell me I could do this and actually get in the ring from the first day when I told you I wanted to fight. You took me serious, you got me the fight, and I finished it. And it was awesome. Probably, I hate to say this, but one of the best nights of my life, honestly. I remember stepping out of the ring and the crowd being there, and I am blood, man. I am blood. And that was the best part. I remember you and Matt trying to cauterize or do something with that blood that was just kept pouring. And I remember looking you in the corner and saying, stop, it's not going to stop. Just let me fight. You know what I mean? But that was what the excitement was. So the build up from the day one to the getting the fight and getting in that ring and being in front of the crowd, that moment and that time, I belonged. I really did. And I'll never forget. I'll never forget the love I felt with my cornermen. I never felt better than the people there to support me and say, you got this, Mare. This was something you wanted to do and you did it. Bloody and all.
And you did so great. I remember, oh my gosh, like those hands just left your face and just didn't stop for 3 rounds. It was such a fun night. It was such a fun fight to watch. It was such an amazing thing to be a part of. And you know, it's those moments, not just taking somebody to a fight, it's the getting them the result that they're looking for is why I do what I do and why I love what I do. It's finding the moment for the individual and helping them achieve the result they're looking for. In your instance, 3 years before that, it was trying to find you a fight. And those times, it was not the easiest thing to do. It was really not easy to find someone that is in their 30s and is a female and has 0 fight experience. And now we've got to get you a master's female fight. So luckily the glitter gloves gave us that opportunity. But then this is not the only time you've been in the ring before. Right. This is fight number 1. So we've got to fast forward even more till, well, actually, let's not skip so far because there's been some time in between. There's been some downtime that you weren't a part of Legends at all. I am going to go out on a limb here, but I think that part of that has to do with the loss of Cade.
It does.
And I think that some of it has to also do with the fact that we accomplished your initial goal.
Yeah. Yep.
But then you found your way back to Legends for when? EFN, right?
EFN, yep.
Yeah, just 2 years ago.
And like you said, I came back and forth. And that's, if you really think about it, actually, it's just, I came back home multiple times because that's how I see it. When I walk into this building, I feel like I'm coming home, right? So yeah, there's times through life and career and everything else that goes on in your life, injuries that kept me away. But this was always here. And I knew, I still do. I can walk in this door anytime and come back home anytime I'm ready for it. So yeah, fast forward to the next EFN, and I went again out on a limb, sent the email. I'm like, I think I should fight again. I think I need this. This is a time in my life I need to get back at it. So yeah.
So like that to me was a huge blessing, because like you and I have never not been a part of each other's lives. We've always been a part of each other's lives since the first day we met each other. But there was a pretty good stint that we were very limited a part of each other's lives. And so I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity that 2022 gave you and I, because it brought us back into each other's lives, full force back into each other's lives. So I couldn't be more grateful. It was awesome for us both to take home the victory. It was awesome to be on the other side of, normally I'm the coaching side and the everything side of it. And so it was very cool to be a part of that show and to see the production. But I couldn't have been more proud to see my friend back in that ring again. And that time, wow. I mean, 1-6, 1-6, 1-6 for 3 rounds. Like that's like, I'm just like, all right, geez, this is great. I loved it. It was such a great time. It was such an amazing time.
It was actually.
But yeah, again, I have to say thank you to EFN. Thank you to Legends for bringing Mer back into my life, majorly. And so, yeah, it's been a really good ride, Mer.
It has.
It has been really good.
It's going to continue.
Yeah. What's in your future? What do you have set?
Future right now, just being at my age and where my kids are in life. I'd love to get back to the whole feeling better and health side of things. I've had a couple losses, one being my mother last year. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what? When I have an idea or something I want to accomplish, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to hold back. Just like that day I walked into XSA, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to do this. People are going to think I'm crazy. I might lose a few people by opinion. But other than that, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to use, and honestly, boxing's part of it. It's almost like my baseline. I always think back of those fights and I think, if I can do that, I can do this. And even if I lose this, guess what? I can go back to Legends. I can go back to boxing. I can go back home and build that up again. And that's what this offers me, regardless. I can walk in here anytime and I can build back up in one class and I can walk out here feeling like I can do anything. So I'm not going to turn around anymore. I'm going to keep moving forward. And I'm not going to let things, it happens in life, but I'm not going to let things hold me back anymore. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to accomplish, and I'm going to do the crazy fun stuff that maybe people don't think this 46-year-old mom should do.
I love that, Mary. I love that. And she has been, you guys. You went to Australia, you went to Iceland, you skydived while you were in Australia, right?
So New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah, so went to Iceland, totally out of my comfort zone.
Right.
Good time. Cold, very cold. Couple scary moments, but good experience. I'm not a traveler, so that's what was new for me. Right. I went to Hawaii, skydived over the big island. That was a first. Very invigorating. Would love to do it 100 more times. And then went to New Zealand and did a cliff jump with bungee cord. And then I did different type of skydive. What's it called? Paragliding, sorry. Did paragliding down the canyon. So that just kind of started my new future of what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say no.
Turning around.
No, I'm not turning around.
I love that.
I'm going to move forward. And those times when I'm like, hey, this is probably a little risky or maybe not, I'm going to just stop right there. So no, I can do this. I can accomplish this. It's my want. It's my life. I'm going to move forward. And I have to be an example, like my girls. Let's be honest. They're growing up with a very unconditional mom. The mom that jumps on her Harley and takes off, or the mom that comes home on a Thursday night from sparring in the ring and she's got blood all over. At this point, my girls are like, whatever, mom. But I am showing them and I am an example. Like, anything you want to do, you can do. Yeah, sometimes things are dangerous. Guess what? Even your faults or your failures from it is a lesson. You're going to learn something from it. You're going to get something out of it. So I'm not going to turn around anymore. And I don't want them to either. I want them to move forward. And anybody around me, including you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you have been an incredibly humongous example to me. And like I said, that words really don't do justice how much I appreciate you, Merrick. And I know that you would never be here in front of cameras talking to anybody other than for me. And I appreciate that. But like I said, I think your story and your journey up to this point is such a relatable story to so many people. There's so many people out there that need to hear the fact that it's just your conscious decision to go, I am not going to fold. I'm not going to crumble. I'm not going to let outside influence tell me I cannot do this. I am going to tell myself I can do this and I can push forward and I cannot turn around, like you said. And I love that. There's so many people that need to hear that need to relate to that just feel that there's always something that's holding them back. There's always someone that's holding them down. And the way I look at it, like you mentioned, there's a couple times through your journey that you've lost friendships, you've lost people in this. But I look at that and go, they weren't your true friends to begin with. If they're not going to support you, if they're not going to accept you for the fact that you know who you are, do you know how many people out there just don't even know what they want? Like they have no idea what it is that they want or what they want to do with life. And they just kind of go with the flow, or they just do what other people are doing, even though down here, it's not right. They don't feel right. That's not a part of them. So for people to be able to hear that no matter what age, when you first walked in 12 years ago, when you now at 46 years old are still making these conscious decisions to be, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do what makes me happy and be the example for my family. Those are very powerful words.
Yeah.
So I can't thank you enough for being here. I can't thank you enough for sharing your story. Legends has definitely been an impactful part to so many lives, but to yours specifically, you are one of the people who helped pave the way for where it is currently right now. And I appreciate that. So are we going to have any more fights in your future?
I wish. I hope. Find me another 45-year-old woman that's in my class that will fight me. I'll sign up tomorrow.
So www.legendsboxing.com/fight. And there's an application. So for all of you guys who are listening to this, by this time, we might still need some people. So don't hesitate to submit your application. But what it's for is on October 6th at the Carl Malone Center. We are having our legendary weekend, and it's going to be in tandem with our legendary awards banquet. But we're also doing a fight night. And so this is Legends Tribe members only. Every single person that's in the ring is a Legends member. And they have been training Legends way, and now they're getting the opportunity, just like you wanted so many years ago. They're getting that opportunity to come in.
And I would say, for people that are just even, considering looking into Legends, honestly, just come out to a class. Even watching the fighters train and prepare for their fight is a whole nother world too. It's very encouraging, and it's actually something that's fun to experience. Come to a class, see if you like to hit a bag. You'd be surprised what it does for you. It's very therapeutic for me. But you don't have to get in the ring. You don't have to fight. But trust me, if you come and you see this tribe that's being built, and you sit here and you watch what people are doing and accomplishing, whether it's just on the bag, whether it's fitness or to fight come October, come and experience it, because it'll change everything. Like, it's amazing.
Couldn't have said it better, guys. Thank you so much for being here, Mary. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with somebody, comments, questions. If there's a topic you guys want to hear about, don't hesitate to leave it. Thanks again.